Yeah, hello and welcome to a new video of this series. Something is different. I mean, you notice it right off the bat. Yeah, this is an experiment. We're gonna do this season or this episode, not the whole season, this episode in English. And this is yeah, because I want to share this also with my dear English-speaking friends and colleagues who don't need to bother. Yeah, trying to or be forced to learn German with reading all the subtitles and try to understand what I want to convey in my previous videos. So yeah, this is an exception, I guess. So, and also, like I said, an experiment. So let's see how this turns out. Yeah, before we start, there is one really important thing I'd like to stress out, and I took some time to get this ideas sorted, and it's really important to me. So watch this. I'd like to address one remark before we really start in the kitchen. As a foodie, I get that one question quite a lot, which is obviously, what is your favorite dish? And that boils down or relates to, okay, what is cooking all about in the end of the day? And there's just really one important thing I'd like to point out, and this is, it's not about fancy or expensive ingredients, right? There is no art in buying the most expensive Wagyu beef or garnish everything with tons of caviar, etc. That, in the end of the day, especially the caviar example, is just open a tin and put something on. I mean, it's probably appears or should appear to be like the top-notch culinary experience, but in the end of the day, it's not the art of cooking. Which brings us to what is the art of cooking, and it is turning something ordinary and even ugly and unpretentious thing like this celery into something that beautiful, that smooth and rich as the puree we are about to cook now. That is, to me, the essence, and then, if you want to put it poetically, the art of cooking. And the same goes with other cheap ingredients, like you can do, I don't know, the most impressive stuff from leftovers if you just know how to tweak certain things and yeah, have a good taste and the core repertoire of techniques to transform something like the celery into the end result. Okay, that was important for me to express. And now, without further ado, back in the kitchen. We will again, as usual, start with the ingredient walkthrough. And for those who might tune in for the first time, since this is finally now a show in English, you see the chapters down in the description, and you can skip just yeah, right to the midst of the cooking action, or you see yeah, every section of the ingredient walkthrough, then the equipment walkthrough, and so on and so forth. But first things first, now the ingredient walkthrough. And also, of course, if you have now clicked on the description, you see not only the chapters, but also the recipe in total, so you don't have to take yeah, screenshots. Everything should be described. So first things first, of course, our celery. Then we also need potatoes to get the texture and the consistency, because we're doing a puree and not a soup. So the equivalent, I mean, 1 celery and 2 yeah, medium-sized potatoes should be just fine. Then we need Noilly Prat. We need white wine, Riesling again, of course. Then to get everything yeah, fried before the actual cooking, we need again our yeah, I don't even know what this is in English. So Butterschmalz, Google it yourself. Then we need onions, we need garlic, we need our famous bay leaves, like I think they appear in every dish now except the Kaiserschmarrn and the whiskey sour, but yeah, they really give a rich flavor, so they are important. Then we need nutmeg, and we need butter, and we need crème fraîche. That should be it basically, and now switch over to the equipment walkthrough. Guys, I'm so distracted with all the internal translation monologue going on in my head that I forgot two very important ingredients. We don't fill up all the liquids with Noilly Prat and white wine, so this is just for the deglazing. So our actual fluids we need to cook everything is milk, whole milk, and we need again stock, chicken stock, also a good friend of this channel, because I said in one of my previous videos, I think it was the cauliflower curry, that only amateurs and rookies cook with water. Chefs don't cook with water, they cook with flavored liquids, AE stock, and my favorite is chicken stock. So sorry for that, but now we're good to go. All right, now to the equipment. We need a pot, a big one, because there is a certain capacity that is required, so choose the biggest one you have. Then we need a stirring pan. You will see what for. We're doing something with the butter, spoiler alert. Then we need a sieve and a second smaller pot. And then of course we need a chopping board. Wooden is totally fine since we're not dealing with any meat or fish. So chopping board, then we need our microplane, we need a big spoon, we need our, and even here I'm missing the German term for it. So yeah, rubber spoon, whatever, I still call it Gummimambo. Then a speed peeler for the potatoes, of course our knife, and again some sort of spoon to mix through the ingredients, so this is optional. All right, that should be it, and now let's do the chopping, and then we're gonna turn on the stove and get things rolling. Yeah, and in terms of equipment, what I've also forgot is of course a blender or mixer, and we need really a powerful one. So this little friend here will be our mixer, and this is in the class of blenders which power is noted with horsepowers even. So there are basically two famous vendors offering these kind of very high potential blenders. The one is Vitamix, famously known I think in the American region, which has approximately I think 3.5 horsepower. Maybe it's a marketing claim, but it really has punch. And the other one is from a German vendor, Vorwerk, called the Thermomix, and that is also very powerful. Plus, as the name implies, it can also heat. It has a thermal component. I have neither of them. I have a different, no name, but also very strong one, because this is the only way to get that smooth texture. And I'm not against the Thermomix. I just think it's overrated, because the thermal part we're doing in our pot, right? There's the heat, there's the thermal element, and the mixer. Yeah, I got a mixer. So what you need is a stove and a pan, or a frying pan, or a pot for the thermal, and then for the mixing, every powerful mixer does it. Okay, good. Okay, we start with our main actor, the celery. So in order to have like an even shopping experience and don't have it like wibbly wobbly around, plus we want to get rid of these very woody and dirty roots anyways, we cut the bottom off with one good chop, and it depends. So this is quite clean. Sometimes they're really dirty and messy and have all earth going on, especially in the root area. So yeah, another reason to cut this off. And now you might remember it from the zest slicing in the whiskey sour video, where we really wanted to have very thin slices of the zests. So it's really the same here. You position the knife, yeah, with the tip of the blade here, and then you do this chopping down and rotation motion, yeah, and then just around. And so on and so forth. You see this maybe now in fast forward. Oh boy, experimented is. It's not only that I'm doing this in English, but also with some new camera angles, and the one camera was not rolling. So this camera right here was not recording when I was peeling around the celery, but you didn't miss much. So again, here's the root section. Yeah, we cut this off, and now I peeled around or cut around everything clean, and now there are some areas residing where we just need to get out these, yeah, I call them eyes, right? And then it should be all fine and prepared and good to go. So we're getting rid of this once this is sliced and diced. But yeah, sorry again for this camera not rolling. Like I said, a couple of new things I'm trying out here. Okay, now that we got this prepared, it is 3 steps. First is slice it in discs, then discs to sticks, and then the sticks into cubes. And it don't has to be that finely chopped, but you will see the size we were aiming for here. So first things first, I'm gonna show it as an example. So of course you do this with the whole celery, but now I have three discs, and I stack them over each other. All right, and now, so you should see it from discs into sticks, and then the stack of sticks into cubes or dices. All right, we want to have about this size, and yeah, do yourself a favor and try to cut them evenly, because the bigger the dice, the longer it takes to be softened, cooked, and so if it has like the same size, it's all cooked evenly. Yeah, but you don't have to be that precise, because in the end of the day we're gonna make a puree and it's gonna be all blended anyways. But yeah, so this goes into the tray. Life hack, just put the chopping board a bit in front of the table plate and then just pull it in there. Okay, and I'm going to do this now with the rest of the celery as a first step. Okay. Before I continue chopping the rest of the celery, there's one tip I want to, or one recommendation I want to make. So before you cut everything into little cubes or dices, remain 1/2 of a disc. And what you can do then is grabbing your speed peeler and peel down celery, very thin celery flakes, right? And what you can do is deep fry them. And so you have like, yeah, celery chips, very crunchy, just season them with a bit of salt and you can put them on top of your puree. So you have two textures. You have very smooth and yeah, rich puree, and then you have like the crunchy, salty, yeah, chip experience on top of it. I'm not going to do this today, but just as a remark, so I can highly recommend this. But yeah, like I said, I won't do it, and therefore I'm going to chop everything into the cubes now. Okay. Voila, there's the result. Now we're gonna peel the potatoes and slice and dice them as well. Okay, just very roughly, don't take too much time or overthink it. Just, yeah, approximately the same shape and size as the celery has. And also we don't need a separated tray, so this goes into the celery as well, and then we have that done. Here comes our onions. So yeah, I have now two. They are small or medium size, so make it maybe equivalent to the yeah, amount of volume of the potato you put in there. So that is a good ratio, like 2 mid-size onions, 2 mid-size potatoes for one celery. You saw this quite often now, so again, fast forward, you don't need to see me peel an onion and chop it. At least not in slow-mo or in detail. So fast forward. All right, here we go with our onions. They don't need to be chopped that finely, that fine, because yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, it's a puree. So now garlic also chopped this time, and while I'm doing this, I'm already gonna turn on the oven, the plate, to preheat our pot. Okay. Okay, that's it with the shopping. Now let the cooking action start. The heat is on, and so in goes our ghee or Butterschmalz, in which we're gonna yeah, fry the celery and the potatoes at first to give them a little punch, a little roast aromatics. Yeah, so this is my style of doing these things, like always giving them some roast flavors and then deglaze them and then fill up with the liquid and get them tenderly cooked. It just brings more taste. In goes all our ingredients. And I'm really sorry, but I forgot so much things. So, I mean, goes without saying, but I didn't have it included in my ingredient walkthrough, of course, salt and pepper, right? In terms of salt, we need the big gun to start with. Yeah, I mean, just a pinch of salt wouldn't be sufficient for that amount of celery, right? I didn't put it on a scale, but it goes into kilos. So we can season it very well right from the beginning, right? We do the tasting afterwards, but like 1 teaspoon right off the bat into it to give it like a punch for the start. Then with my wooden spoon, give it a stir. And I'm gonna increase the heat a bit, so I'm now on position 4 out of 6. Reason behind it, if you put so much ingredient and such a high volume into the pot or in every pan, the temperature decreases, and we don't want to have it cooked right now. Yeah, we want to have it fried, and therefore we need to work against the just the cold that all these ingredients are seeking out of the pan. So get this properly preheated, put everything in there, and then just increase even the heat so that you can hear, and I hope the microphones convey it, hear that high pitch frying sound, right? Then you're on the right track. If it's just very low key bubbling, then you're already in the cooking process. Okay, so once this has 3 to 4 minutes, we're gonna add the chopped onions and the garlic into it, and give it all a stir, and then it's about to be deglazed, and you will see this then in the next steps. It already smells fantastic. Give it another stir. Yeah, so that you have a rotation on the bottom of the pot, so that every dice has a proper chance to be facing the hot surface and get some roast aromas. And now adding our onions and garlic. Always onions first and garlic with a bit of delay afterwards, because it tends to burn just quicker. Give it a stir. And what we can also already add are the bay leaves. And I said it in previous videos, but like I said, maybe new people to watch this, always count the number of bay leaves you put in there, because we need to separate them before the blending process. So count with me. I'm gonna add 3 in with it. Now the garlic. Again, give it a stir. Smell is already fantastic. And yeah, again, I need to apologize. I forgot not only the milk and the chicken stock in the ingredient walkthrough, I also forgot one very important ingredient, which is sugar. Before we deglaze, and we're gonna do this in 2 steps with a Noilly Prat, so a white vermouth, and with a nice Mosel Riesling, white wine. And before deglazing, so when you stop the frying process and start the cooking process, and resolve all the flavors from the frying process from the bottom of the pot. Before you do that, you should add sugar and give it a chance to caramelize. We're going to do this now. In with the sugar, like half a teaspoon. And yeah, there are already nice brown patterns on our bottom. So this is all flavor and what we are looking for, right? This is the whole idea behind frying it before cooking it. And now first Noilly Prat. Again, thumb on top of it so that you can regulate how much should go in there. You have a sound. Job done. And now let this reduce and give it like a good stroke on the bottom of the pan so that you remove all this roasted aromas with the liquid. So once the Noilly Prat, the white vermouth, I don't know, just call it Noilly Prat, we go in with our white wine and have a second reduction. Heat is still up. So, and besides from adding liquid and removing all the roasting flavors of the bottom and initiate the actual cooking process, the job of these two liquids is to give like richness. The white wine has like this complex acid structure which it adds to our dish, and this is just classic French cuisine style to have also the Noilly Prat. I can't even explain the richness and the flavor it brings. It's similar to the bay leaves, right? You can't say what it is and what it actually brings to it, but you can say if it's not in there, then it's just flat, right? So, good. Give the white wine also a fair chance to reduce, and once both of these liquids are reduced, we're gonna fill it up with our chicken stocks and our milk, and then we can also reduce the heat. We just bring it initially to a boil, and then once it boils, put it down, but you will see it in a second. All right. Our white wine and Noilly Prat are reduced. We can now give it already some strokes of black pepper. And always, never ever pre-blended pepper, always fresh grinded, fresh out of the grinder. And also a bit of nutmeg. This is a very essential ingredient, and we will finish the tasting process, of course, with salt, pepper, a bit of that, and also then nutmeg. But the initial flavoring is also important, so also in with a bit of nutmeg already. Give it another stir, and now the idea is to fill this up so that the surface is just covered, right? So that is the exact amount. I won't give you any milliliter numbers. So just try to do it evenly. So half chicken stock, half milk, and add it up so that everything is covered and can cook evenly. Starting with the milk. Now chicken stock. everything that might sit on the wall, push it back into the liquid. So there are some scattered onions, and so if you can see this right now, yeah, looks almost good, but I need a bit more liquid, and so I'm gonna add another dash of milk to it. Keep the energy up, yeah, so that once it boils you can reduce it and then just put the lid on it and let it cook until yeah, you take a little probe and see if everything is tender. It takes about 10 minutes to cook evenly, and also what you need to do, like I said, the finalization is at the end, but right now just taste the liquid. If this is like well enough seasoned, and it can get a bit more salt. All right. So the potato and also the celery, but especially the potato, absorb a lot of salt. So therefore don't worry. Yeah, like I said, we need this to the initial boil, reduce the heat, put on the lid. And while this is cooking, I'm gonna resolve the conundrum of the two pots here, starting with the first one. So gonna turn up the heat, and we will add butter in here to get roasted butter, or brown butter would be the one-to-one translation from German, gebräunte Butter, or in French it's Beurre Noisette. And this is a very typical ingredient in the French cuisine, and we need to add butter anyways. And the advantage of having brown butter or Beurre Noisette or roasted butter is that, again, you get a very unique flavor, and it is really simple. You just put butter here in the pan, and then yeah, with a controlled heat you let it melt, and once it melts, the protein basically in the butter sits on the bottom and gets roasted. And once this is done, you need to immediately turn down the heat and separate the pan so that it doesn't burn, but that gives the richness we will add later on to the puree and the blending process. Try it at home, thank me later. In goes the butter. And I will show you how it looks like once the process is going on. Okay, so you can see the butter is gently melting. Oh, here we go. And this is about to cook. It's now simmering. You can also hear it, I hope. And now we will reduce the heat, put on the lid. And now we can concentrate on the Beurre Noisette. So it is now melting, and also some noise going on. But there is now no roasting as of now. And this is really something you need to be present, right? If you know, do the laundry and just keep it on the stove, you will have a disaster, right? So stay right here. Have an eye on it. So, and what happens here with our brown butter making process is that the water component in the butter evaporates, and the fat remains fat, and the protein component in it we want to have caramelized or roasted. So butter consists, right, for the vast amount of fat, but also like water and this protein, and therefore you can never really fry a steak in butter. Therefore you need to have ghee or cleared butter or Butterschmalz or any like oil, right? Frying oil, but never butter. Butter is later on for getting just flavor to it, but you can never really fry in butter. So, and it is called brown butter for a reason. So you can see it is really foamy already. So we have a nice foam on it. See? And it's already, you see this little dots there? That is the particles that we want to caramelize or roast. And already now I can turn off the heat because the residual heat will be completely sufficient. And here you see the brown spots. I hope they're visible, and I'm gonna remove it from the stove and just place it over here. All right, and here it can park. In the meantime, let's have a look what our big pot is doing. So it looks a bit disgusting, to be honest, right? But this is totally okay, no worries. Just give it a good steer. And yeah, we can also keep the bay leaves in for a couple of more minutes, and then I'm gonna remove them, all 3 of them. Here's number 1. There's number 2. And come on, little boy, number 3, where are you hiding? Got you. Of course you were hiding on the wall, huh? There you are. So all 3 are released, and yeah, this continues to simmer now. I had to remove my glasses because all of the steam, I couldn't see anything. Let this simmer for a couple of more minutes, and then we can take one probe and just put it on the chopping board and see how tenderly cooked it already is, or if it needs a couple of more minutes. But yeah, that's basically the job now. Get everything soft and tender, yeah, then to the next steps. Okay, we will now take a probe and see how tender it is. And important thing here, just watch out for the more yellow pieces, because that are your potatoes. And if you get a potato and it is tender, then the celery is tender anyways, because potato takes more time to cook than the celery. And here we have 1 potato. Excellent. Park it on the chopping board. Just make a first test. Yeah, this goes back inside. I can already turn off the heat, replace the lid, give it 1 or 2 more minutes, and then everything should be good. And then we're going to the next part, the blending. Okay, so here we are on the opposite side of the kitchen board. I have here my blender, which you've seen previously. I have here my heat bridge, and I already prepared my pot and a sieve. I replaced this. I took a bigger one, and what we're doing now is we're gonna separate the liquids from the solid parts. So solid parts go in our blender, and then we will add just the right amount of liquid to have the right texture, right? And again, the rule is you can make it longer or thinner as long as you want by just adding more liquid, but you get never back like the texture if it is too thin, too lick. So therefore we need to separate the two phases, the solid one and the liquid ones, at first to have just more control. Plus this is just pure kitchen gold, and I will show you what we will make of the residing liquids once the puree is finished. Spoiler alert, it might be a bit poshy foam, but we get to this. Okay, here's our stuff, and now make it this way so that you can see it. Go through, and you don't need to separate everything, right? Because a certain amount of liquid is required, of course, for the blending process. So that is all good. And now we have this all separated. Perfect. And now to our blender. Here it is. Okay, in goes first this part here. Like I said, at this point in time, or in this stage, it looks quite disgusting. Don't want to draw any comparisons. And now with the residing liquids, all the other solid parts. This is a task where 4 hands would be very admired, but we get there. Told you, you need a big freaking pot. All right, nice. Job done. Into the sink. All right, here we go. We're about to start the blending action. So put this on your blender, lid on, and then we just separated all the liquid. But I know from experience that we need a little dash right away to have the blades, just have some substance to cut, right? In with that. And what we're also gonna do, so I have everything prepared here. I have my salt and pepper, I have my nutmeg, and I have butter. So this is the normal butter, so to say. I have here my roasted butter, already goes in. And I have some crème fraîche. I talked earlier about the acidity of the white wine, and crème fraîche has like this very unique lacto acidity, right? It gives a bit of light, but also savory and fattiness and richness. So very important ingredient. So 1 good teaspoon, to start with. We will later have the tasting, but for the start, that goes in as well. And now start the blending. Sorry for all the noise, but yeah, just to say, I will clean all the residing elements here and keep it into the blender as well. Turn it off for a second. Sorry, it's quite noisy. So what you want to achieve is you want to have that vortex, that constant vortex, and in order to get this, you need the right amount of liquidity. Now it is too compact, so like I said, step by step I will add a bit more liquid to just get this constant vortex to really have a smooth, yeah, nice puree. Okay, turn it back on. And in goes more liquid. Okay, it's time to have a first taste and to check not only the flavor but also the texture, of course. Texture, I can already tell, is beautiful, really silky, smooth, rich, excellent. Just the right amount of liquid added, so therefore I said it's a step-by-step approach. But yeah, like I said, it has to taste already flavor-wise. Yeah, right. Texture is the one thing, flavor the other. We're on a very, very good trajectory here, but now it's about the fine-tuning. So now we can really pimp it and bring it to the next level. This is also good. Yeah, so far good as a start, but we will add a bit more crème fraîche, just through the top. That should be just fine. We add a bit more butter, goes in. Need to remove the lid one more time. A bit more salt, just a pinch. Yeah, right. Now we don't need the large glass of salt and do it spoon wise, but just a pinch. A bit of pepper, really not that much, and also some nutmeg goes in. All right, lid goes on. Give it another mix, then it is finalized. And yeah, just one side note. I already mentioned in the beginning of the video the importance of a very powerful mixer. Don't ever try to do this with such a blending wand. So it is fine, and we will use it for our foam, yeah, right, the remaining liquids, to foam them. That is the area where this tool works and what it is designed for. It is not designed to get through the solid components of, like, I don't know, the equivalent of 1.5 kilo celery and potato. Just don't try, right? Okay, finalize it. This is done. We will now replace it into a medium-sized pot. And therefore the rubber spoon is essential to go really along the walls and try to get everything out. And I'm gonna show you one pro tip in a second. Okay, this is good so far. And look at this. I will show it to you again. Here we go. Hope you can get the texture. Excellent. Give it another taste. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, silky, rich, and yeah, this is just heaven. And like I said, that is the art of cooking, transforming something ordinary, even ugly, like a celery, into that rich, awesome puree. That being said, a couple of things to add. This is the perfect site for steak, duck, etc., you name it. Just because, I mean, it is rich and there's some butter and crème fraîche and some fat in it, but I mean, basically the vast amount of it is vegetables, right? So this is very light, low carb alternative to just potato or rice. So right, it's like striking two birds with one stone. It is low carb and also ultra tasty, and there's even a third bird you can strike. That is, in the celery there is a lot of umami punch, so glutamine acid, right? This is one of the natural ingredients that have the highest amount of glutamine acid, and therefore it is that rich and umami. And if you have, for example, a mediocre wine to pair your food with, and you take a sip of the wine and then you add a spoon of the celery puree, it just boosts the wine, yeah, to a different dimension. So try it, and yeah, that is that. I will maybe later on show you the plating when I cooked some. I don't know, let's see, there is something in my fridge, you will see it. And before we get there, I want to show you what we do with the leftovers that are in our blender. So we will clean this properly, and also what we will do with our liquids. And you see this in a second. Okay, so now what we're gonna do with the leftovers. We're gonna pull the liquid back into the blender. There we go. Park the pot. And now the idea is to get the blender back in action and to wash out all the leftovers on the walls, to not waste any flavor. And so yeah, we do this and then it goes back to the pot, and then next step. Okay, now that it's clean, it goes back into the pot. Use the rubber spoon to get everything out of it. Perfect. Now we will heat this up, add a bit more butter, a bit more crème fraîche, maybe nutmeg, salt, pepper, let's see, and then we're gonna mix it up to have like a very nice foamy texture. And that is just one additional poshy twist if you plate it, that you have not only celery puree and maybe even celery crunch if you deep fried the stripes, which I showed you at the beginning, but also have like a foam. Plus you can of course add other complementary aromas into that foam. Example given, I'd like to go with a bit of truffle oil. So truffle is a good friend of celery. So try this. In this example I will keep it plain, so add no truffle, no herbs. Yeah, for example you can add parsley there as well, and you have like a green foam then, which also fits quite nice from the flavor spectrum. But yeah, I will keep it just plain, and yeah, once this is heated up, just mix it. You will see the results in a second. Okay, this now has a certain temperature. Before we mix it, give it a taste. Oh yeah. Oh, this is so good. I mean, there's everything inside we cooked out of the celery and all the aromas we gave into it, and the Noilly Prat, the white wine, everything is in there, right? Except the butter and the brown butter and the crème fraîche. But speaking of crème fraîche, we're gonna add just a knob of it, plus a bit of butter, and again, not only for the flavor and the richness, but in order to get foam, you need lecithin, right? And there's a lot of lecithin in butter. Salt was perfectly fine, so now blend it up. And do so by removing the blending wand up and down, or removing it out of the liquid so that you can incorporate some air. Just like that. And this is all natural foam, right? There are no stabilizers or some artificial stuff in it. And look at this. Maybe you can see it better here. Nice, really nice foam. Again, just scrape it from the surface that you only get the foam. And here it is. And again, give it a taste. Yeah, excellent. And yeah, that's it. We got our puree, we got our side product. Yeah, maybe this video ends here, or maybe not. And then I will show you later on how I will plate everything. Okay. All that stuff took a while. If you're still stick around, then thanks for your patience. And it already became dark outside, but I had some leftovers in my fridge, some duck, as you can see here, right? I had some sauce leftovers, all right, and of course we have our puree here and our fancy, poshy, sophisticated foam, which I will now get recreated or reactivated basically, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to plate this and play with our puree. Now, there are certain shapes and patterns I like the most when it comes to, bring the puree to the plate, and I'd like to go with this one. So 1 spoon and a second spoon. Then you take a first spoon and do like this shape, right? Then we have our perfectly roasted duck. Look how beautiful this is. And then what you can do is maybe have something like that on the side. Here comes our orange sauce. Beautiful. And then, of course, not to forget our foam. There it is. And just go through the surface and garnish like your puree with the foam, just for that little extra. Here we go. Bon appetit. and happy cooking. Okay, it doesn't has to be red wine, yeah, but just the glutamine acid in the puree, that umami, goes very well with mediocre red wine. That's why I shared the story. Here I got my Riesling, Mosel Riesling from the deglazing. I think I've earned it. And yeah, now puree, that's the main actor here with some foam. Oh yeah, do this. Cheers, bye.